Today, let's look at the Slab Mini all-button controller from ArcadePCBs. I'll walk you through my thoughts on this review unit, and I'll also demonstrate how to utilize some of their cooler customization features to really dial it in to make it your own. So let's get started. The Slab Mini is a small leverless offering which makes use of sandwiched acrylic construction. It utilizes a custom PCB designed by ArcadePCBs and also an embedded Pico running current GP2040CE firmware. I really love that firmware, and the people behind the scenes continually pushing it further and constantly optimizing. It's blazingly fast and works on several systems. However, at the time of this video, the Slab Mini does not have native PS5 support, and you'll need to use a Brook PS5 Wingman converter to net compatibility with that system. It will work on PS4 out of the box, but it has that 8-minute timeout issue unless you source the PS4 keys elsewhere. That means you're going to need to do a bit of digging. All the other systems shown here should have no issue though. In regard to the unit's dimensions, they might remind you of a flatbox inspired build. However, you'll notice that they seem a bit thicker than some of their competitors' offerings. That's because many of these controllers will typically utilize low profile switches, whereas the Slab Mini actually makes use of full-size switches. So, if there wasn't a low profile equivalent of your favorite full-size switch type, now you won't have to settle. You'll need a switch puller, but you can install any of the hundreds of types on the market today. The default switches that come with the unit are LTC crystal similar reds, and the tops are clear MX arcade caps. Here's a quick sound check. You can get these with or without artwork, so I had them send me one with the art. For a cool little stickless, I thought we should keep in theme and go with one of the coolest cold team fighting game characters, Glacius from Killer Instinct. I worked with my usual art buddy Creeps and Babes to come up with this. So here he is under the northern lights using an ice lance on an old KI cab. For the concept, I wanted to make sure to highlight this OLED screen and incorporate it into the design somehow, so figured it could sort of act as the monitor for the arcade cabinet. More on this little screen here in just a minute. Now, you can install your own artwork yourself, or you can upgrade your purchase through ArcadePCBs. For a marginal fee, they will print and laser cut your artwork, so it's all ready to go, which is what I did here. They will accept your art in a PSD file, and then follow the same procedures as most other printing places. But here are a few tips to make sure you do it correctly. And if you ever want to change it, just remove these 6 top screws and pull apart the topmost layers. No need to remove switches or button caps. Just insert your new vibe and screw it all back together. While it's apart, you can see those full-size switches. Once again, those are LTC branded with clear MX arcade caps. Now we can look at the LEDs. When you plug it in, it's ready to go. But with a few quick inputs, you can tweak light movement, brightness, and colors. They also use LED light pipes to make those colors pop. Really though, because the whole unit is transparent, the lights carry better than a lot of other models. I thought the blue LEDs would work well to call to mind some ice to help involve our theme throughout the whole unit. If you want to dial in something beyond the standard color offerings, you can do that with the configurator tool. That's also how you would enable the PS4 keys or change this little screen. Now, I really like this OLED screen. It can demonstrate inputs in real time, but a user can also change up the screen and install custom ones. Out of the box, these will default to a Slab Mini logo. But just like the LEDs, if you hold the S2 button while connecting your device to a PC, you can type this URL in your address bar. It will take you to a web configuration setup for GP2040CE based devices. The art is pretty small, only 128 by 64 pixels, and it needs to be black and white. But with some quick photoshopping, you can fab up whatever you'd like. Here I played with a cracked KI monitor, a little Glacius sprite, and even my tag. The sky is the limit, and it's really a fun little touch. You can set them to boot on start for a set amount of time before turning back to the input display, or you can make them last the entire duration the unit is powered on. So how does it stack up to its competition? Here's what this unit looks like compared to a few other all-button controller options. Its size and layout actually remind me most of the Junk Food Arcade Micro, and for the systems it plays on, Its price point of $155 seems very fair. At the time of this video, you can pre-order these on Etsy for that base amount, or with additional options for art upgrades if you want to spend a bit more. However, ArcadePCBs is currently suffering from the same success as most of these smaller brands of all-button devices right now, and they have a difficult time keeping sufficient inventory for their demand. So now they utilize a pre-order program where the customer pays in full with no cancellation option, and then the controller production begins. Some 6 to 8 weeks later, the completed units are delivered. That may be too long for some to wait, but ArcadePCBs does have star seller Etsy status, so it's clear that they are doing their best for what the size of their operations allows for. Check them out on Etsy if you'd like to pre-order something. Just remember to also snag a USB-C cord if you don't already have one. ArcadePCBs is also behind the scenes working on some interesting PS5 compatible controllers, so make sure to check back in to see what they unveil and when. Anyway, thanks to ArcadePCBs for sending me a review copy to showcase here on this channel. I think it's a cool little all-button controller. And you at home, if you made it to the end, thanks for watching. I would appreciate a sub if you found value in the content, and if you have any questions about the unit, drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. Support your locals, and I'll see you next time.